All right, I have HMIs. So, and my presentation is on HMIs, which stands for Human Machine Interface. There are many components to HMIs in this presentation. I will talk about push-button stations, overhead displays, and touch screens. We will see how these can help the operator and the machine in their processes. I will explain how HMIs can help prevent the machine from damaging itself further if it notices a problem. HMIs can also give off warnings and alarms to operators in the area around it. Lastly, how the HMIs can be used as a safety technique for maintenance. We'll take a deeper dive into each one of these as we go on with our presentation. So my first topic here is damage prevention, and I want to talk about how these can help protect the machine from future damage. These machines, they're all wired to talk to each other, so when one machine has a problem, it'll send almost like a message to the rest of them, and it'll come back to these push button stations or overhead displays or these touch screens. And it kind of, if you read, it says right here, when you have interface in machines, it's a way for the machines to like give you information on that machine, or like I said, some down the line. My example here is in a corrugator. There are many machines to make up the corrugator as a whole, and one of them is a preheater. The preheater is, the main purpose is exactly what it is. It's a giant drum roll that preheats paper before it goes to a glue machine. Just makes the paper warm, so the glue gets applied to it, makes it stick better. But with it being a heater, there's obviously it's got to be at certain temperatures, and those can all be monitored by a touch screen. And if the operator or whoever is running the said machine will be able to see if it needs to go up or down, and from there they can adjust the temperature to whatever they seem fit or etc. So like here are some pictures of like those touchscreens right here. It just kind of gives you, this is like a basic overlay of like the machines and like different parts, and with these buttons there's a bunch of different tabs that you can like flip through to see other machines on the line, and this is just like a way that people will mount them. I mean, you want them to be close to the machine you're working on, but in a corrugator, for example, these machines are 100 degrees, so you don't want it to be too close to the machine. So sometimes they have them like this, where it's just a little bit above it, or they'll have them totally off board. But these just kind of give you a communication about the machines and how they are running. So my next topic is how HMIs, the machine interface, can give you warning and alarms to the operators at push button stations and touchscreens. So like I was talking about in my previous topic, they give us a way to kind of like a heads up about like, hey, the temperature is dropping, like you need to do more or whatever. But for some reason, if the machine does go down, the lights are a perfect indicator that there's a problem, or the machine might be an e-stop or something. Like a message will pop up saying the glue machine or preheater is down, and in these HMIs, these displays, there will be like a giant flashing red. Like one of these tabs will be flashing red, and you click that and it'll say whatever the alarm is. But this just gives people a heads up that there is a problem, but also that they might catch a problem before it actually happens, or something catastrophic happens. So this gives like maintenance a better look on the repair and can help pinpoint exactly where the problem happened. Those alarms and warnings can be very important in the machine's processes, as those warnings can also prevent damage further down the production line. HMIs are one of the simplest ways to prevent a bigger problem down the line. They're easy to install and can identify problems instantly and save time on trying to figure out what went wrong. And a little deeper dive into that is they, like I said, the machines talk to each other. So when you have something that happens, you will tend to have that exact detail pop up on a touchscreen. So for a maintenance man who needs to get this machine back up and running, it's easier for him to look at the screen and say, all right, I need to go down to the stacker or another part of the machine, and that's where the problem is. So it just saves them time, but the machine can also shut itself down too. And the alarms are pretty big. um, they're pretty big in the corrugator side of industrial machines, because that's how people know when the machine's starting to get out of the way if they are. And we'll go into in preventing injuries, the alarms, and it'll show why. Kind of gives people a heads up. But so my last topic, and the one I kind of just hinted at, was preventing injuries. My last topic is about how HMIs can actually save people from injuries and have safety features. In the last topic, I mentioned how maintenance might need to go into the machine to fix a problem or anything in that nature. Something gets stuck, jammed. Most times these machines have safety procedures in place, like a gate switch or safety lines. If someone has a gate open, it'll send a signal through the touchscreen saying the machine is not ready to run. And what I mean by that is usually it's like a lock. It needs to be locked in place in order for it to give the operators the green light to start the machine up. And if an operator doesn't notice that and they try to start the machine up, it'll prevent from the machine starting up. So it's just a way of making sure that nobody gets caught in or stuck in the machine, or if they're working on it and someone who's careless or doesn't know what's going on comes by and presses the start button. That's happened a lot with people getting stuck into these machines. However, it's not in the parts where they're likely to get hurt. It's more underneath, like a belt section or something that, I mean, you still don't want to be underneath there, but that's kind of the reason why they have these. It's because a lot of times maintenance is in them. And like I said, the HMIs can tell people where the gate switch is too. So if it's at a certain machine, they can walk over there, be like, all right, somebody just forgot to shut the gate and shut it. Or if someone's working there, they know not to shut it. And so those are just some pictures of like the gate switches and safety lines that I have. So preventing injuries, this prevents a careless operator from starting the machine, like I said. Someone, however, could have simply just forgotten to shut the gate. This is just to make sure that operators double check that they're good to run. So the HMIs come into effect here because, like I said, they can pinpoint exactly what gate is open, and the HMIs will also prevent them running. They can't override them unless that safety switch is happy. Safety is very important no matter what the job site is you're working on. And have the ability to shut down a machine for your safety, I think, is pretty important to be able to just work and not have to worry about the machine starting. And knowing that because you have your push button stations and your touch screens to relay that message that, like, hey, you're working here, I think that's pretty important. So in this presentation, I hope that you have come to the realization of how important these are in our trade, especially in the industrial side. I know, especially I do a lot of industrial, and I know that I work with these almost every day, and I'm always fiddling with them. And we saw how HMIs can protect the machine itself by letting the operator know what's wrong, and that's important because these machines aren't cheap. We learned that in an event that something does go wrong, these HMIs can provide you with what the problem is and where it occurred, lastly, and that can save people from injuries and preventing anything bad happening to anyone who may work on them. And honestly, it just saves you a lot of time from messing around and troubleshooting things. It's more of a resource and a tool. So for how fast the world is evolving with computers and software, think about how that could come into play with human-to-machine interaction. Maybe we don't need operators at certain stations anymore. HMIs might be a thing of the past, and machines will have those safety mechanisms already built in them. And what I was getting at that is, they have to send a message to the HMI to tell the operator, but who knows what that could look like. Eventually, maybe these machines go away with that, and then it's just only one machine talks to everyone. But thank you for your time and listening to my presentation on human-machine interface.